So looks like I'm going to be making a not as popular decision to replace the stock shifter on the Miata. So I've got a 6-speed and it's got a shifter rebuild kit already, and it's nice and crisp. Let me show you guys. 1, 2, real crisp. Reverse. I will say a couple times I've had issues where I won't go into third. Maybe it's my technique, but also I've heard that worn engine mounts also don't help. I also have a second gear and third gear sometimes crunch when it's cold. Changing fluids didn't really help, so I'm gonna see if the short shifter does anything. I doubt it, but I do have motor mounts that I plan to buy. Let's take everything out the box and show you guys what the whole kit comes with. So first off, obviously the main piece here, the shifter. Very surprised with how light it is. You'd think a full metal thing is like super, you know, a little bit more heavy duty, but it feels good. It's not like cheap feeling. It just feels lighter yet still solid. I did have to go with the black and gold, which I don't mind. I ordered it from Drift HQ. I think it was like $41 shipped to me. They didn't have the black on black in stock, so I was like, screw it. You don't really see the gold anyways, and it doesn't really bother me too much. Next up, we've got like Loctite in the packaging, and then you've got the plate. I'm assuming it's gonna sit like this per the shifter here, and this will obviously go in once we get that. So first things first, let's get the shift knob off. If you haven't had it off in a while, it's going to be a bit tricky. All right, we got that. Next up, let's take off the center console. So the center console, you've got two little tabby things. You pretty much free up with it's got like these cover things that aren't quite popping out. I'm gonna need a flathead for that. So you've got those Phillips heads, and you've got two Phillips heads up here, right down there. Take those two out, and then you can just slide it out after you unplug the window switch before you completely remove the center. Went ahead and moved to the passenger side because I have way more space instead of having to go in and out my filthy bucket seat that doesn't slide. So like I said, you've got these on both sides, and then you've got these two right over here. You can kind of just slide it forward, and then like I said, don't forget the plug for the window switch right here. All right, center console set aside. Here is the stock shifter. Looking pretty simple. So it looks like we have 10 mil bolts here. So you got 1, 2, 3, and 4 to take off. And then you've got this plate, so you just gotta match the shape. So looks like I think it was upside down, so it's gonna go like this. Just match the stock shape. And since it's a 6-speed, you're not gonna need to fill the turret, but you 5-speed guys, maybe a good idea to at least refill the trans fluid up top. I think the reason you have to put turret oil is because the 6-speeds, they grab the fluid from the whole trans, but the 5-speeds, they don't share that, so it's separate. You've got the trans part and then the turret part, so keep an eye on that. Like I said, I got a 6-speed, don't want to worry about it. You know what, after looking at it, I'm probably just going to, since it's all in great shape for you know, for what it is, I'm gonna just get to these 10 mils first. There's 1, 2, and then 3 back there, so that I can kind of just keep this whole thing in one unit, since the shifter is almost brand new. Just in case, you know, I always keep stock stuff, so just keep everything together. I'm just going to remove it all at once. So like I said, 10 mil, 3 bolts in there, and the whole stock shifter should come out. All right guys, it's hard to kind of film with one hand, but all I really did was just moved it to first, and then got those little things out, and then went to reverse to get the top left one out. But just make sure it is in neutral. I think it's gonna be the easiest when you take the shifter out, and then it should slide right out. Boom, there you go. Stock shifter in pretty good shape is coming out. So now we have those pins to worry about. All right, so these pins kind of hold these retainer clips in. So what you're gonna have to do is probably the best bet, which is use a hammer and a punch to kind of put those pins in. Now in my case, I don't quite have a punch, and I'm not trying to go out to the store, so I'm going to use just a extension and just start banging those in this way. Now getting the front is going to be an absolute pain, but we'll do my best here. Get those pins flush with the outside without trying to score the inside here. Okay guys, after some tinkering, obviously the front was really straightforward. You just put that punch or whatever in, it'll tap out real easy. Now the back, tried. Obviously center console's too close, so what I ended up doing is using some vice grips. Still got a little bit to go, but basically you put it right at the edge, so that you're not blocking the actual pin from coming out. So right at the edge right there, like that on the top, and then just going little by little so you can have that little extra squeeze like that to start pushing it out slowly. So just gonna be slow, but it is possible with vice grips, no problem. So don't be too afraid of breaking this. I don't think that big of a deal with the IRP shifter anyways. So it would be nice though if I can retain it so that I have all stock parts just in case. I ended up separating the metal plate with this rubber bushing, and I had it like this the way they had in the packaging, and by the time I bolted everything down I noticed, hey, the holes don't align. So don't make my mistake. Go ahead and just separate both, and the grid stuff style part is on the top, and you've got this portion aligning everything, so that's good. So now that we have that, now we should be able to get the shifter in here again. Let's try again, take 3, and bolt everything down. So let's do that. Remember, you've got one bolt kind of already installed because you can't get to it from the top, obviously. So maybe you probably need like a special 10, but you should be able to just use a 10 mil for that, and then use the supplied other 10 mils right here. Those two, grab those. And then these, by the way, are adjustment screws we're going to get to later. Quick point, I forgot the Loctite, the blue Loctite they include. Don't forget that, so put that on the existing one that's in there, and then don't forget to put the other two. So you're going to want to put it a little bit past the threads. Let me show you guys on the carpet here. So you don't want to put it initially down there, so you want to put it more like a little bit above, I'm thinking. Just because if you put it up here, it's only going to be where the shifter is, so it's not even going to hit the thread. So just like that. Luckily, we've got a little bit of a space on this side to be able to get to the last bolt here, or first, whichever one you prefer. So it's looking like it's working out with just like a regular one, which is nice. Just gotta kind of turn around and play with it a little bit. But yeah, get that tight. So get all those nice and tight. And when you get those tight, let's double check the shifting. All right, so last few steps here, I went ahead and marked my bolts, not too tight, just nice and snug, and then maybe half a turn more. That's what I did. So just make sure you've got all the gears. Yep, I do. And reverse. So cool. Now we have the adjustment screws. So these screws come in the package as well. So what these do is this helps kind of tighten the shifter up. So you want to go into first, and if you see, you've got a little bit of wiggle room. So what it does is it helps kind of limit the travel there. So what you want to do is you want to put this all the way in after you put it in first gear, and do it to where it barely touches, pretty much just stops where the cylinder is there. And then you want to use a I guess an L wrench. I'll let you know the size, and then a wrench, I'll let you know the size on that too, to tighten the nut down. So tighten it until it just hits the cylinder, so it doesn't move around much, nice and tight. And we're going to do that also for the reverse gear. Well, sadly didn't have the right size wrench for this nut, so I'm going to have to just use a freaking adjustable. It's so kind of annoying, but it is what it is. So almost there. Okay, now reverse. So the reason why it's first and reverse, because they're the most extreme gears on the outer edges of the shift pattern. So one, and then reverse all the way out here. So go ahead and put in reverse. If I can get in it. Still not in. There we go. We are in. Now, go ahead and do the same thing here. Screw it in. Try not to freaking cross-thread it. Oh, there we go. Okay. and go ahead and tighten that. And then we're going to do one final test, and we're going to get the shift boot cut a little bit and install the center. All right, guys, so this is the stoppers in action. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and let's make sure we can get reverse. Yep, everything's good. If you don't adjust these right, you will be locked out in a couple gears. So feels freaking awesome. Can't wait to drive it. But let's go ahead and get the shift boot, I guess, cut so that we can fit over the knob so we can get at least some sort of cover going. All right, guys, so what I did was I took out the ring, the retainer ring for the shifter boot. Kind of ripped up part of the boot, but it's fine. And then what I did was I just started cutting little by little as much as I needed to get past the knob. And now I'm just gonna probably see if I can nicely tuck it in, just so that it looks good. I decided to cut up front, just where most people won't see the back. You kind of want to keep nice and clean. I actually forgot to do is plug the window switches in. You don't want to forget that for sure. Perfect. Now she sits. Okay, and I'm just gonna start tucking the boot in kind of towards the back or towards the inside. Like I said, a little bit more care, probably be nicer, but for now this will work. I may try and see if I can find a way to kind of pinch this, and it's pretty good, but for now, not too bad. But yeah, let me get everything kind of bolted in with the screws, and we'll go for the test drive. Okay, so hopefully the GoPro footage kind of gave you guys an idea of something that worked. So here's pretty much like an in-car with the top up of the shifter. So it's got a little bit of MVH, not too crazy until you get like really high in the RPMs. Let me see if I can do it while driving. So around, let's say, almost 7,000 RPM-ish, so right at red line. It's really rattly, understandably so. I mean, it's pretty much like a full metal, a little bit of rubber bushing here and there, but otherwise pretty full metal of a shifter. $500 worth, you be the judge. I like it. It's the only style shifter that I prefer on cars. I love tall shifters. I'm actually not as big of a fan of short shifters, but this one just feels so good. And the fact that like factory Mazda shifters are so tight, I don't actually mind it in this case. On my daily, on the Fit, it's a taller shifter, but it's like the throws are like that, like no freaking, it's a commuter car, so no precision at all, which is fine. But either way, feels great. All the gears feel freaking dope. I think I had one run, full power run or full throttle run, where it felt really hard to get into fourth for some reason. I figured it'd be second to third, but either way, it wasn't that bad. I think new motor mounts will definitely help. As of the second to third grind, I think it's either maxed or not there. I'm not entirely sure, but either way, I'm not really too bothered by it. I think new motor mounts will really help the shifting and all that. Roll through some gears here. Kind of, sort of. All right. I think I'm kind of glad I did just the the shifter instead of the motor mounts and everything together, just so that I could kind of figure out what the car feels like without it all. Each couple gears, let's see, to the hand ratio. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I figured it'd be a little bit closer for some reason. I don't know why, but overall feels great. Great shifter. It's up to you if it's worth it. If you like it and think it's cool and love the experience or want the experience, definitely do it. But if you have other things to purchase, then spend that $500 a little bit smarter, maybe brake pads, radiator, stuff like that. But I really I like to focus on the driving feel, and I like to focus on where I spend my time in, which will be the seat, steering wheel, shifter, and the feel of the car, we can coil over. So overall, I like it. It's it's what I enjoy, so definitely love it. Anyways, thanks for watching. I guess we'll see you in the next one. Thanks.